I got a magazine as well that I have to put out called American New. I shot the first issue on like Kanye's ranch, and then the second issue on my own. I gotta put that out.
Maybe we should link up and talk about that.
I'll show it to you.
Let's get into it. I'm gonna record, so I'll do recording.
Recording in progress.
Alright, good. What is it morning out there, Dave? What's the time?
It's like 11. It's 11.
Good morning to you, sir. You well?
I'm very well. Like I was saying, just a little concerned about this hurricane, but at the end of the day, I know when not to stay. I'm out. You know what I mean? So before the traffic, I'm out.
Hopefully you get out.
No, it ain't no hopefully. I'm out.
Say no more.
Yeah, I'm out. It ain't raining right now. I'm not gonna wait till it rains to get out the rain. You feel what I'm saying?
I hear you. You're here in the UK on October the 9th, right? For a live conversation at your 2.
Yeah.
Hosts, Nikki Slim, filmmaker, one of you guys sharing interests, obviously.
Very good filmmaker, independent, respect him a lot.
Yeah, of course. Slim did a live, and it's about a year or so ago, which I call great conversation. Looking forward to much more to say. You're going to be opening on this stage, that's what you expect to love over it.
I mean, I'm not clear what y'all expect or what y'all love, but I'll be me, you know, and however I'm inspired is the energy that you'll get. You know, usually it's based on what's going on in my life and the epiphanies that I've been seeing daily. You know, I smoke a lot of weed. So daily I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out the world and why, and now how to make the same mistakes and how to get out of it. You know, the thing is, I was thinking, this is an epiphany I had yesterday. You know, some people are born to be generals, and a general really loves to have something to fight for. And I just feel like I've been born to be a general. And in this world, the reason why I must have come in this world black was because there's so many things to fight for. You know, as a general, you're looking for a war to fight, and it has to be a war that you fight for a reason. It should always be for love. And culture is something that you will always be inspired to fight for because you're affected by it. It's your DNA. It makes you. You feel me? And when you're trying to figure out why there's certain patterns that continue to happen over and over again and how not to get caught up in those things, then you realize how many different issues there are culturally that for a general, it's a field day. It's like a kid in a candy store. But there's a lot to fight for. And the thing about when you have a product or you have something that you want the world to actually understand, you got to hit the road. And I know this is a day where it's digital, but you still, to me, got to go hand in hand. Like, I couldn't see someone running for office without getting into the market and understanding it. So you don't know what the world needs unless you're actually physically in the world. So you got to get out there. So I used to come to London a lot, once a month, years ago. I had a crib out there in SoHo, and I loved London. I loved the taste. I loved how direct, smart, the whole. I loved it. I loved how I was received because they appreciated my honesty out there. So what I'm expecting is an honest conversation. And I know y'all gonna be expecting honest answers. And, you know, Nicky, he's not dumb. You know what I'm saying? He's an independent that I've watched and be inspired as an artist, but also do things independently for the culture. So he understands the fight. So sometimes I'm talking to people that don't understand. I gotta actually explain to them the reasons why I'm fighting, what I'm fighting for, and the perspective, because they just can't see it from any other perspective but their own. But with people that are like-minded, that have a similar struggle, then I don't have to do so much explaining about why I'm doing what I'm doing. We just can get to the answers. We already know the problems, but what I like to do is come with solutions.
From a very, very selfish point of view, I'm interested in what then dashes on next in terms of business, yeah? So in terms of, you know, what industry, what areas of focus are inspiring you right now and why?
So I'm glad you asked that. Again, I have a lot of different activations. The last 10 years, what I've been committed to do is not being a businessman, because a businessman will do anything for money. I want to be an artist. An artist will do anything for art, which to me is love. I know because, again, you got to compromise. You got to give a little piece of yourself. a little piece of what you believe in when you have somebody else funding things. But to be a starving artist means no compromise. You make and do only what makes you feel good when you want to do it. And there's a process that comes with it and a respect for the art. You don't just do it for the bread. You don't just put your face on something and then just say, let me leverage my celebrity, but don't understand the product. So I became an artist. And what I love to do is make films. I love to make music. I love to make pictures. I love to do fashion. I love to do all those things. But I love to really do them, not just make money. I love to create. So I've been opening up art galleries around the world for the last 10 years, and I've been actually capturing all of it on camera. And you know, DD-172, which created control, you know, everyone, all of that. We did all of those things. You know, galleries in Charleston, in China, ran around. And now what we have is a television network. And I have a television network. And when you have a television network, you can't just make one movie. You got to make a lot. It's not about one movie. So to me, again, I'm a general. I feel like I'm a boss. I can't be like, yo, what am I doing? Making a movie? It's like saying I'm just making a record. I have to have a label. So right now, as an artist, I've been directing. I just directed a movie called The Prince of Detroit, which is a drama, and it's about Black lineage and wealth. And that's something that I haven't done yet. And I've been showing that all around America right now, and you know, I've been very well received. I got a comedy that I directed. And again, this is on Kanye's Ranch, 6 days with Lucy, and it's a stoner movie. And it's not the typical urban movie that you would think. It's like a black kid, a white kid, and them having fun. And then we just have my girl who runs the company, Raquel. She just launched Applefish, which is a network. You can get it on YouTube, and it's about, you know, how to teach your children. And she also has a book called Dust That Goes to Space and a short film. And then we have the magazine, American New, and then I have a comic book, Dead Weight. So I have the app, and then I have everything that I'm doing. We have to do it in the metaverse. So I put my gallery, the Dash NFT gallery in the metaverse on Netbook. And that's where I'm building, and I'm going to showcase artists. And in the Web3 space, it's a whole new world. And we can't let it get colonized. We can't get left out. We can't have it in a language that we don't understand. So my intention is to bring everything that I'm doing in Oxygen World and showcase and show people how to do it in the metaverse as well. Or at least start to understand it. Start to get in the rhythm and the groove of it, because only 12% of the world, if that much, even know about it. But because of the transparency of the tracking and the utilities, which means all the things that you can do without having to put up so much bread, because in the digital world, it's a lot cheaper, but it's worth the same amount. But again, this language, racism is different now, and colonism is different, colonizing is different. It's not going to be the way it was. But if you look at the algorithm of life, they always try to control something they don't own. They always try to make the narrative, we got to buy free shit from them and give it back to us. And we can't let that happen in the digital space. So I'm also going to be educating on how to, do what you need to do in the metaverse, everything I'm doing in the real world. And then I'm in a rock group called the Black Guns. I'm a lead singer of a rock guitar player. If you want to go listen to the album, it's called Therapy by the Black Guns. It's on Spotify and Apple right now. And I have an album out right now with Cameron and A-Track right now. That's out, Federal Reserve. So that's out. So I become a very creative business entity, and I doubt that you could find any company on a professional level that's doing a comic book, a magazine, children's books, cartoons, movies, comics, dramas, and then also specifically the way I'm helping the world in this very moment. I'm part of something called the Commission and the OSG. The OSG is 200 principles that are predominantly working in communities where people are economically challenged. Principles with the same color of skin as us. And what we do is, number one, I teach a class for entrepreneurship so they can teach the kids. And then they tell me what we need, and they all talk on Thursdays. And whatever the world needs that the Board of Education isn't doing, they do. And our intention is to go around, buy buildings, make schools, make places to teach a curriculum that's not just for us, but for everybody. So I got big plans. And in my brain, think about it. It's all independent. That's an art within itself. To be able to manifest, visualize, and make tangible things that you can sell just based on how you feel without somebody else funding you. So, if you ask me a question, I might answer it 30 different ways.
You touched on a few things I'm probably going to come back to, especially in terms of, Web3 space and the rock band that you're in. But we'll get through in a second. There's people who come to the event on the night in London who they're going to want to hear a bit about them from the old and them on the journey and pretty much what you just outlined in terms of them, where it's going in the future. Let me ask you a question. Where you are now, what you've done up to this point, if you started again today, would you have retained the same success? Would the journey look very, very different? Or would you be in a much further advanced?
Meaning if I was starting in where the world is today, the problem is I created what the world is today. So I don't think it would be there if I wasn't in the past. You know what I mean? So I have to go back to the future to even figure that out. What would the world look like if I wasn't in it in the last 20 years? If there was no Kanye, and there was no Jay-Z, and there was no Lee Daniels or Kevin Hart, and no Rachel Roy, and no Cameron, what would it look like if we didn't have that swag to pump blood through the culture? I don't know. What would it have looked like if we didn't showcase what independence looked like in its pure essence 20 years ago? What would it look like now? Who knows? Who would have been that guy that would have fought for that, and who would be that guy that's still fighting for that? So what you got to understand is our enlightenment and where we are today, it came from what I was saying yesterday and what people were trying to persecute me for. But I understood the sacrifice because it wasn't a sacrifice. If suckers don't want to listen, they can get out of here. It doesn't mean they're going to sacrifice me. It means I'm putting them in my ribs and I'm going to keep evolving. And whoever wants to catch up can. But I did understand back then what I was doing and how it was going to affect it now. What I was doing is time travel. So back then I was looking at what I wanted now to look like. What I didn't like about the world back then needed to get fixed. And I knew it wasn't an overnight thing. And I knew it wasn't a physical thing. It was a mentality thing. And I knew it wouldn't be well received because change is never well received. It scares people. But when you're a general, you look for change, you fight for change. That's all you want is change. So again, for some reason, I'm like, damn, I guess I must have been a general in another life because I'm just looking for ways to change things that I don't like because I don't want to always be complaining. See, that's the thing I don't like to do is complain. I like to have answers. But when I hear the same algorithm, the same exact, we're repressed and we're this and we're that, and we already know what it is. And we should know to do and say things different and approach things different. What it means is, what's the common denominator? We don't never own the land, so we can't never make the laws. We never have ownership, so we never know what the world looks like when we run it. It doesn't mean the world's going to be a bad place for anybody because we don't run things from a place of fear. We run things from a place of love. So it means everybody eats. So for me, if people are upset, then I got to watch out for those people that are upset. I'm a guy that likes to relax. I don't like to have to be on guard all the time because I know what it is. So if everybody's full, if everybody's happy, then nobody's fighting. So why would the agenda be to take from them or they take from us? It's everybody evenly got to eat. It's the circle of success for the world. We have to unify. As long as there's division, nothing will ever get done because we're always distracted by war. That's the algorithm, and that's where they have kept us in control. They section us. They think, colors is what makes us fight. It's social class. The rich stay rich and they keep the poor working for the rich. And the way they do that is keep the poor fighting the poor. Keep the poor thinking that you need the rich not to be poor. But then you stay poor. You got to figure out how to make yourself rich. You already have the wealth. See, what I started to see and what I've understood is everything free is priceless. Breathing is free, but let somebody take that from you. Freedom is free, but let somebody take it from you. Health is free, but let that get taken from you. Then you'll pay anything to get it back. Once I did it the way that was perceived as supposed to be the good way, and I was like, this don't feel good. Nobody's happy. This can't be right. And then I tried it another way and I'm like, yo, doing it independently, completely as I suspected, feels great. I'm gonna keep doing it that way. Forget the money. The freedom is priceless.
General no. Every general needs a general to inspire and to this couple on the journey, right? Talk about some of those who have done that for you. And I know these are the obvious ones, but I want to dig down into some of them that I'm not so obvious.
So Hannibal, I love the way he fought. You know, Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. What I liked about the Roman days was that you were not considered famous unless you won a war for your country. No matter how much money you got, unless you won a war, so you'd be rich and you'd be dying just for that fame. But you would have to conquer something for something again that you love. You know? So these are people I've heard about. Anouk and Anil. I'm curious to know they were Anunnakis. I want to know they're the ones that supposedly created the human race and, you know, made it a slave race. I'm kind of curious to know, and what I look at, you know, what again has happened throughout history is the reason.
I've seen your work with Lady Pastor.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by what he does as well, so yeah.
Well, the problem is that we are taught doesn't make sense to me. On this planet and the way we're controlled, like to have access to resources and not use them so that we can kill our planet for selfish reasons when we can all just be happy. This planet don't make sense to me. So I started looking for answers other places. You know, I just feel like we're in some kind of control, you know, system. So I want to know, like, I don't believe these stories that are told to me because life wouldn't be like this. It should be peace before war.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.